Hey, what's going on YouTube and Facebook? Long time no see. This is about why colored people are more energetic and calm at the same time. It's a crazy mix. Then you're gonna be like, well, David, when you say it like that, that can be anybody. But if you really think about it, think about all of the colored people that you know, especially African Americans, because we are dominant in dark skin. So let me break this down. Why do you find a lot of African Americans come up with like cool slang, cool like hip hop and all these pop culture ideas that everybody are falling in love with and we're just fascinated by, and why they're always more cool-headed, calm, mellow guys and have a nice tone of voice? Now, as I get into this video more and more, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe and like. If you're on Facebook, go view this on my YouTube. There's a lot of great content. Subscribe and like and leave a comment wherever you are. This is going to be some of my opinions, but there's going to be also a lot of facts and experience on this video. Well, the calmness comes from something called melatonin. Now, this is a fact that, listen, look at me. I'm melanin. There's melanin in my skin. My melanin levels are a lot higher than somebody that is light skinned or just lighter skinned than myself. And melatonin is something that helps relax you and regulate your sleep cycle. So if you can put this hand in hand, you can see why we are naturally more relaxed than an average person. Now, some people may mistake that for a lack of intelligence because they're just so laid back and nonchalant going, or a lack of aggressiveness or passive, but that's quite the opposite. Now, let me give you a little shot on the other side of this. More than most African American, and it goes down the line by color, even if you're Caucasian and you just happen to be really dark skinned, this applies to yourself too. African Americans we have higher levels of testosterone. It's just proven facts. We have higher levels of testosterone. Now, I remember always hearing things like this when I was younger, and I heard it from all different races. Now, this is not a race video, but this is going to be thrown out there a lot. So if you're sensitive, maybe this is not for you. So I heard this a lot when I was in PE when I was younger. It's like, oh man, look, he got abs. He probably didn't even do nothing and he got abs. And look, he's all cut up. He probably never worked out in his life. But hold on. It's genetics. It's genetics, because darker skinned people all across the globe, we were tribal, we were hunters, we were survivors. Our body and our mentality was a lot different. Caucasians, there were not a lot of tribal Caucasian. There was not a lot of Caucasian tribes that you can think of offhand. Like, can you think of one like right now? No, you cannot. You know, now there's a lot of Indians that are Caucasian, but these are newer breeds. These are diluted breeds of Indians. Their predecessors were not that color. It's just marriage and you get it. So the testosterone level gives us a lot more active energy, because a lot of colored people were loud, we were aggressive at doing things, and were very spare the moment, but at the same time we're still chill and relaxed and we're calm, we're cool-headed. And that's why you see more African Americans, Latin Americans in sports, because we have that extra testosterone level that just pushes us, and we're so aggressive when we start going, but as soon as we stop, we're just calm. Have you ever seen an athlete when they're on the field or when they're on the court or wherever they perform? They're really aggressive, they're talking shit, they're going around fast, and then when they get on camera, they're just laid back, they're just relaxed. Some of them don't even speak a lot. Some of them are extremely shy, but as soon as they get active, they get that testosterone just pumping up, and they're just going, just like they're driven, just like a pit bull. Like when you pull, they just keep on going harder and harder and harder, because the testosterone level, once again, and it's in our DNA, and we're just raised like that. So it's a buildup over time. It's natural for us, where people have to try. Like you could say in any aspect of life, when you're successful, you can't teach people to try hard. You can't teach people to try hard. Like when you come from a culture that had a lack of, and they have to try just to get a little bit. When they get opportunities, or they get into a situation where there's a lot of opportunities, they take advantage, and they take advantage in a major way. That's why I think that a lot of people dislike foreigners. Like, and there's more to say about an illegal immigrant outside of it being illegal. People are intimidated because when an illegal immigrant comes over here and they come from some place that they had absolutely nothing, and it was 10 people in a 1-bedroom house, and now they're in a 2-bedroom, and they actually got some space, and they're making some decent money to them, and they're killing it, and they come over here and they just kill the game because, one, they respect it, they don't take it for granted. And they was used to working so hard for nothing. Now they're working so hard and they're getting something. That's the difference. And this is just the mentality that's carrying over. Then it's like, you see, you're like, but Dave, you say that colored people are so laid back and so calm because the melatonin levels, and actually we are apt to be more spiritual inclined. I mean, not like going to church and things like that, but even though you see in Black and Latin culture, we are extremely dedicated to church in some form, our religion in some form. But at the same time, I'm talking about like spiritual as in something non-physical, like mystical, because melatonin, like I said, and melanin in the skin has a lot to do with your sleep cycle, has a lot to do with non-physical experiences, like it can get you closer to having lucid dreams and so on and so forth, and that opens up a lot of things. Then going back to the aggressive nature that you always see on camera, on the news, and maybe even in your society in small pockets around the world, right? They're like, okay, so if you guys are so calm, why do we see that African Americans, Latin Americans, and minorities are the majority when it comes to criminal activity? And they are the majority of the population, which is crazy, right? It's because we have that energy, we have that aggression in a positive form, but it turns because years of molding, years of discrimination, years of a lack of, years of getting maybe teased or pushed to the side, and then you get into a small pocket or a group that says, okay, We're no longer going to allow this to happen, and we are going to turn this energy, this more aggressive nature that we have, on the opposer. And in that society, it's okay, so it becomes a norm for those groups, and that's what you see on the news. That's the only difference between the two. But if you ever look at a criminal, right, they're extremely relaxed. And even when they're doing a crime, they're extremely relaxed. Like, it's just crazy. Now, this has nothing to do with crime or anything like that, or our culture or anything like that. I'm just pointing out my views on why we are so relaxed, and at the same time we have an abundance of energy to use when we need to use it. So I'm just trying to break it down for people if they're trying to figure out your counterpart, or your friends, or your husband, or your wife, or your daughter, whatever. This gives a little bit more insight on that aspect. Now, if you want to hear more on how this relates to spirituality, now I don't mean religion, because it's a completely different thing. Spirituality beyond the body, then go to Thompson TV on YouTube, and you can hear a little bit more about that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video, and that's going to be about intermittent fasting and why even skinny people could take advantage of intermittent fasting. See you on the next one.